A young man named Jeong Songwoo reflects on having a substitute for handling all our tasks, someone who could exercise for us, earn money for us, and take care of everything while he only enjoys the results. He illustrates each example with vivid images, making it clear that it seems like a dream come true. Sangwoo shares that he nearly achieved such a life and hasn't given up on that dream yet. In a combat uniform, Sangwoo talks about his relentless effort to secure a more comfortable life than anyone else. He acknowledges that it might seem odd to work so hard just to be able to eat and play comfortably, and questions if we aren't all striving for something similar. He orders his clones to attack and emphasizes that he isn't alone in his endeavors because his skill is cloning. Jeong Sangwoo is immersed in a video game, but his mind is busy with all his responsibilities, like studying for his classes and making sure he eats properly. Despite these obligations, he can't stop thinking about all the fun things he wants to do. He dreams about playing more video games, traveling to new places, partying with his friends, and going on dates. These thoughts make him wonder why a person can only focus on one task at a time. This frustration makes him wish he had two bodies to do everything he wants simultaneously. Suddenly, something extraordinary happens. His body splits into two. This surprising event triggers a flashback that explains how everything started. The scene shifts to Jeongguk University, where all the students are gathered for an important event. Among them is Jeong Sangwoo, who is feeling tired and wishing he could leave. As he stands there, he dreams about having two bodies so he can manage all his tasks and still have time for fun. During this event, a man named Park Won-tae introduces himself to the students. Park Won-tae is a class hunter, someone responsible for identifying and managing the abilities of people. He explains that he is in charge of the 10th Portal Awakening program, a government initiative designed to help people awaken their special skills. This program involves exposing people to mana, a mysterious energy, and forcing them to awaken their abilities by crossing through a portal. Park Won-tae expresses his sincere hope that everyone will safely complete their awakening process. With a sense of urgency and anticipation, he calls the first group of students to step forward and begin the program. A woman approaches Jeong Sangwoo and asks if he is part of group 37, number 7. He confirms that he is, and she checks his identity. After verifying it, she instructs him to hand over all his gadgets and step into the portal in front of him. Feeling terrified, Jeong Sangwoo steps into the portal. As he enters, the system begins by identifying him using a code and confirms that he is an earthly user. After confirming his identity, the system grants him usage authority and completes his registration. When he emerges from the portal, Jeong Sangwoo feels disoriented, wondering if he passed out. His head feels like it might crack from the experience. Looking around, he questions if he is in a bunker. He also notices that the program seems to have a tough effect on other students, who appear very weak. Jeong Sangwoo observes a girl with an impressive ability that catches the attention of two powerful groups, the Hell Guild and the Dongjin Guild. Both are pleading with her to join their guild. This makes Jeong Sangwoo envious of her talent and the attention she receives. Mr. Park approaches Jeong Sangwoo to congratulate him on his awakening and asks if he feels right. Jeong Sangwoo admits that he doesn't. Mr. Park reassures him that he will feel better soon and asks if he has checked his skills. Jeong Sangwoo then looks at his status and discovers he has a cloning skill that activates when he thinks about it. Initially, Jeong Sangwoo feels pathetic, but he recognizes the importance of his new skill. As he examines his abilities further, he realizes that his casting type involves creating a clone that looks exactly like him by using energy. Jeong Sangwoo keeps pondering his skill, wondering if there are specific conditions for its usage and whether he can use it for everyday tasks. While he's lost in thought, Mr. Park interrupts and asks if he has finished verifying his status window. Jeong Sangwoo replies yes, but mentions that his stats don't look impressive. Mr. Park reassures him not to feel down since most rookies start with similar stats and then inquire about his skill. Jeong Sangwoo explains his cloning ability, and Mr. Park recalls someone who had an illusion cloning skill, which wasn't very useful since illusions can't physically interact with anything. Jeong Sangwoo knows his clone isn't an illusion. Mr. Park tells him that a cloning skill is better than awakening without any skill and suggests showing it to the officials for an accurate judgment. However, Jeong Sangwoo prefers to go home and asks for the exit, feeling pressured by the officials. Mr. Park asks if he has seen the exploring troops and informs him that he has to complete the registration scanning before he can go back through the portal. Jiang Sangwoo completes his registration process and receives an identification bracelet that contains his awakened registration form. As he heads home, he can't stop staring at the bracelet, deeply curious and contemplative about his new skill. Once at home, Jiang Sangwoo becomes frustrated as he checks his game status. He notices that the number of players in the game seems to be decreasing, which worries him. He starts to question whether he should switch to another game. This leads him to consider his financial situation, thinking about his tuition fees and monthly rent. He realizes he might need to get a part-time job to make ends meet. In his frustration, he wishes that someone else could work in his place. Suddenly, he remembers his cloning skill. Eager to test it out, he decides to give it a try. Concentrating, he summons his clone, and to his amazement, a perfect copy of himself appears, standing right in front of him. Jiang Sangwoo is shocked to see a replica of himself, realizing the potential of his newfound ability. Jiang Sangwoo summons his clone and is shocked to see an exact copy of himself standing naked in front of him. Astonished, he asks, "Are you really a clone?" The clone responds with a simple, "Yes." Intrigued, Jiang Sangwoo asks if he can touch him, and the clone assures him that he can. Feeling a bit awkward, Jiang Sangwoo reaches out and realizes that his clone has a real, physical body. It's not an illusion. Suddenly aware of the clone's nakedness, Jiang Sangwoo quickly tells him to put on some clothes. Once dressed, Jiang Sangwoo starts experimenting with his new ability. He asks the clone if he just needs to give him orders to make him act, and the clone confirms this with a nod. As they continue interacting, Jiang Sangwoo soon discovers that he doesn't even need to speak aloud to give commands. The clone responds to his thoughts directly. However, as he gives out more tasks, Jiang Sangwoo notices something important. The clone's stamina mirrors his own. After a series of commands, the clone appears tired, just like Jiang Sangwoo would be after exerting himself. This realization shows Jiang Sangwoo that while his cloning skill is incredibly useful, it has its limitations. His clone shares the same physical endurance and fatigue levels as he does. Jiang Sangwoo sees a text message from his friend Jongdo on his phone, asking him what kind of skill he received. Jongdo boasts about having received 2 hunter skills and pesters Sangwoo for a reply. Feeling unsure, Sangwoo responds, saying he doesn't know yet. Jongdo quickly replies, asking if Sangwoo got something useless and urging him to speak up. Reluctantly, Sangwoo admits that he did. Jongdo laughs at him and teases that Sangwoo probably has a lying down skill because he's always cooped up in his house. He jokes that no one can help him with that and suggests that Sangwoo should have been more active like him to get a better skill. Sangwoo thinks Jongdo is just being a talkative jerk and mutters a curse under his breath while looking at his phone. After finishing the conversation with Jongdo, Sangwoo turns his attention back to his own situation. He checks his stamina level and notices, to his surprise, that it has increased by 0.01. Jiang Sangwoo's clone is exercising by running, which catches the attention of 2 guys from Jongguk University. They talk about how they've noticed him running every day and wonder if he passes out in those clothes, not realizing he's a clone. Jiang Sangwoo's clone sits on a bench to rest for a while. A woman walks up and offers him a drink, noticing how hard he's working out. However, he runs away, making her question if he's an introvert. Meanwhile, the real Jiang Sangwoo, who looks fit due to his clone's vigorous exercise, checks his weight and ponders how he ate twice as much food as he used to when he was hungry, but still managed to lose 20 pounds this month. He wonders how he hasn't done much, yet his body gets fitter each day, and he even feels a bit taller. After receiving a status update on his stamina, endurance, and relaxation, Jiang Sangwoo realizes that it's true what they say about the skills reflecting the person's inner desires. Jiang Sangwoo reflects on his new cloning ability and notices several fascinating aspects. He realizes that the pain and exhaustion his clone experiences don't affect him at all. He marvels at the fact that the clone will simply disappear if it gets damaged or uses up too much energy. The clone immediately adopts his exact appearance whenever his body changes. He can give it orders just by thinking about them, even from a distance. He also notes that his clone cannot create another clone, preventing an infinite number of clones from being produced. Curious to learn more about his abilities, Jiang Sangwoo browses the Hunter Wiki. He reflects on how he never imagined that he would one day possess such a unique skill. As he researches further, he realizes that his clone can train continuously without any rest, following his commands until it reaches its physical limits. This explains how he could increase his stats so quickly. He starts to wonder how much more he could improve if he trained alongside his clone, and imagines the possibility of gaining 78 stat points. While reading a flyer about Tough Body Gym, Jeong Sang-woo makes a strategic decision. He decides that he will be the head, directing and planning, while his clone will act as his limbs, performing the physical tasks and training. Jeong Sang-woo checks his account balance and discovers he has only 123,801 left. Realizing he doesn't have enough for registration fees and recalling how much he has spent on food, he decides he needs to get a part-time job. He searches online for construction labor jobs, thinking it will help him train his body and earn money at the same time. He finds some jobs and figures he'll have to do the work himself initially because his clone can't follow the process without experiencing it firsthand at least once. After some consideration, Jeong Sang-woo decides to go for a delivery part-time job instead. He calls the person in charge, and the man tells him there isn't an interview and that he just needs to start coming to work. When the man asks when he can start, Jeong Sang-woo says tomorrow. However, the man asks if he's available today and tells him to come to the logistics center by 6:30 p.m. if he's free. Jeong Sang-woo agrees, noting the urgency in the man's voice. Sang-woo wonders if the company is short on workers, but realizes that this situation could be beneficial for him, especially if it means he gets paid immediately after his shift. He feels a mix of apprehension and excitement about starting the job, hoping that it will help him manage his finances and make use of his new abilities effectively. Jeong Sang-woo arrived at the logistics center with his clone in tow. The clone, disguised with a nose mask and a face cap to conceal his identity, followed closely behind. Sang-woo knew he couldn't tell anyone that he had a clone, fearing it might complicate things. Instead, he briefed the clone, instructing him to go by the name Jongdo while at work. He then went over the center's rules and expectations. As they entered the building, Sang-woo was taken aback by its size and complexity. He felt a wave of confusion about where to go next. Just then, a familiar face appeared, Mr. Deokchil, his secondary school teacher. At first, Deokchil didn't recognize Sang-woo. With a warm smile, he shook Sang-woo's hand and commented, "Have you lost a lot of weight?" Caught off guard, Sang-woo quickly replied, "I'm here with my friend for a job." Mr. Deokchil, still smiling, provided them with directions. Sang-woo, feeling a bit disoriented, thanked him and prepared to navigate the vast building. Nervousness crept in as he thought about the tasks ahead, but his clone, Jongdo, reassured him. "Don't worry, I'm not nervous," he said confidently. Bolstered by his clone's calm demeanor, Sang-woo took a deep breath and led the way to the office, ready to face whatever lay ahead. Exhausted from the work, Jeong Sang-woo lay on the ground, feeling deflated and frustrated. The tasks seemed endless, and he wondered if the other workers had some special technique for handling the heavy lifting. Sang-woo regretted not letting his clone, Jongdo, handle the job alone, especially since the clone was managing just fine without him. During their break, Deokchil came over with drinks and food for Sang-woo and his clone. He noticed how hard Jongdo was working without speaking and asked for the clone's name. His clone replied calmly, "Kim Jongdo," and Deokchil commented that it was a very manly name. Deokchil then asked Sang-woo if he was okay, noting that it seemed like this was his first time doing such a job. Sang-woo admitted that the job was tiring. Deokchil praised their perseverance and mentioned that most people would leave during breaks when the work gets tough. Sang-woo thought about this and realized that, if it weren't for his need to keep his bank account in check, he might have been tempted to quit. The clone quickly starts eating and drinking the food and drinks Deokchil brought. Deokchil turns to Jeong Sang-woo and asks which university he got into. Sang-woo answers that he went to Jongguk University. When Sang-woo modestly says the university isn't that great, Deokchil responds that he wishes his daughter could get into a school like that and praises the university. Sang-woo reassures Deokchil, explaining that he wasn't very good at studying either but managed to get into the university through special admission and some licenses. Hearing this, Deokchil offers Sang-woo a part-time job tutoring his daughter, seeing it as a good opportunity for both of them. Remembering his low account balance, Jeong Sang-woo asks if he will be teaching all subjects. Deokshul confirms that he will be, mentioning that his daughter struggles with her studies. Deokshul offers 51 each time Sangwoo teaches his daughter for 2 hours, 1 to 2 times a week. Seeing this as a good deal, Sangwoo agrees to the job. Deokshul says he will discuss the arrangement with his daughter after work and get in touch with Sangwoo. Stretching his tired body, Sangwoo hopes the tutoring will go well and checks his stats. Deciding to grab a bite before going back to work, he finds that his clone has eaten all the food. Annoyed, Sangwoo calls his clone a bastard. The next day, Jeong Sangwoo wakes up feeling sore all over his body. Realizing he's in no shape to continue the part-time job himself, he decides to let his clone, his number 1, handle it from now on. Checking his endurance status, he sees that his clone must have been working hard, which makes him consider making the clone disappear and summoning it again to reset its state. However, he remembers that if he did that, the clone's belongings would drop on the spot, so he decides to simply command the clone to return home through his thoughts and eat until it's full. When the clone arrives back home, Sangwoo instructs it to wash up and change clothes, which the clone does promptly. Sangwoo then pricks the clone's hand with a needle to stimulate its regeneration, noting that if the clone is dismissed, it will scatter because it's not a living being. He asks the clone if it hurts and praises it for enduring the pain as he cleans up the blood. Sangwoo wonders when he will get the regeneration stat and decides to do some research on the Hunter Wiki. He considers trying to meet the requirements over the course of a month, but feels anxious about making the wound too severe. Instead, he opts to perform the regeneration process more frequently to minimize the risk. Jeong Sangwoo instructs his clone to eat ramen when hungry and to make sure to exercise regularly. He hands over his spare mobile, which he mainly uses for video games, and tells the clone to take it to work and use it as needed. After this, Sangwoo heads to the gym. Using a flyer's description, he navigates his way to the gym and is greeted by Kim Jongdo. Jongdo unexpectedly hugs Sangwoo from behind. Annoyed by the unexpected embrace, Sangwoo tells him to get his hands off because of the hot weather. Jongdo, noticing Sangwoo's weight loss, expresses surprise and comments that he barely recognizes him. He then asks how Sangwoo managed to lose weight. Jeong Sangwoo explains that he's been working out regularly and is on his way to the gym. Jongdo, hearing this, expresses interest in joining him. Sangwoo, noticing Jongdo's excess body mass, agrees to let him come along but comments on the extra fat. Jongdo quickly retorts that what Sangwoo is seeing is actually muscle, not fat. When Jongdo asks for the gym's name, Sangwoo tells him it's called Tough Body. Jongdo mentions that Tough Body has a good reputation, but Sangwoo dismisses it, saying there's nothing particularly special about the gym other than the fee. It's only later that Sangwoo realizes Jongdo was referring to the gym's trainer and not the gym itself. At the gym, Jeong Sangwoo and Jongdo walk in and see a group of hefty men working out while the trainer sits at a desk, eating. The gym's setting seems quite fitting to Sangwoo, who thinks the atmosphere is just right. The trainer looks up from his meal, stands up, and greets them warmly. He apologizes for eating, explaining that they are currently on their lunch break, and asks if this is their first time at the gym. Jeong Sangwoo confirms that it is and expresses his intention to register. The trainer then informs them about a special promotion, a 3-month registration for 160,000 won. Sangwoo agrees to the deal and asks if the trainer can check his posture on each machine. He reasons that since his clone will be doing the exercises, it would be helpful to ensure proper form. The trainer assists Sangwoo with the payment process and then gives him a tour of the machines, explaining how each one works and ensuring Sangwoo is comfortable with the setup. The trainer evaluates Jeong Sangwoo's posture and gives him a thumbs up, noting that his form is good. He instructs Sangwoo to apply force on the incline bench press, emphasizing that he should do it strongly and quickly. As Sangwoo starts the exercise, the people in the gym look on with interest. Jongdo, who is also at the gym, begins to attract attention for his impressive strength. This catches the trainer's eye, and he asks Jongdo if he has been working out for a while. Feeling proud but trying to stay humble, Jongdo replies that this is actually his first time working out. The trainer is surprised by Jongdo's strength and asks him about his strength stat. Jongdo modestly answers that his stat is around 2.1. The trainer, still impressed, raises an eyebrow at the unexpected strength, and Jongdo's modest response only adds to the admiration of everyone present. Jiang Sangwoo watches Jongdo and feels a pang of envy at his impressive strength. He guesses that the strength Jongdo mentioned must be related to a skill or stat, which makes Sangwoo wonder just how strong other high-profile hunters must be if even a basic strength increase can make such a noticeable difference. This realization helps him understand why there's so much fascination and talk about hunters they possess extraordinary abilities that set them apart. As Sangwoo is lost in thought, his phone rings. It's Mr. Deokchil, checking in to see if Sangwoo made it home safely. Deokchil mentions that he has spoken with his daughter about the tutoring arrangement. He then asks if Sangwoo can come to his house because he wants to discuss something face-to-face. Sangwoo agrees, saying he will come as soon as possible. He hangs up and prepares himself to leave, feeling a mix of curiosity and anticipation about the upcoming meeting. On his way to Mr. Deokchil's house, Jiang Sangwoo thinks back to the gym visit and feels irritated over how Jongdo didn't register despite being so strong. In a moment of frustration, he mutters under his breath, calling Jongdo a bastard for not following through with the registration. Despite this irritation, Sangwoo finds a silver lining in the situation. He feels a sense of relief knowing that he won't need to worry about sending his clone to the gym anymore. As he approaches Mr. Deokchil's house, Sangwoo's thoughts are still swirling around the events of the day. He arrives at the door, ready for the conversation ahead. However, as he stands outside, he hears raised voices and a commotion coming from inside the house. The sounds of a heated discussion make him pause, and he feels a twinge of unease about what might be happening on the other side of the door. Haeyeon, Mr. Deokchil's daughter, felt a wave of frustration as she confronted her father. "Dad, you can't just make decisions like this without consulting me first," she said, her voice tinged with exasperation. "I need you to tell Jiang Sangwoo not to come. I don't want him here." Mr. Deokchil, already halfway out the door, glanced at his daughter with a mix of irritation and concern. "I'm heading to work now," he said brusquely. "If you don't want Jiang Sangwoo coming over, you can tell him yourself." Before Haeyeon could respond, Mr. Deokchil quickly turned to leave. In his haste, he swung the door open a bit too forcefully and, to his dismay, ended up hitting Jiang Sangwoo, who had just arrived and was standing right outside. The door collided with him, causing a brief moment of awkwardness and surprise. Mr. Deokchil, looking somewhat embarrassed, approached Jiang Sangwoo and said, "I'm really sorry for hitting you with the door earlier. I didn't see you there." Jiang Sangwoo smiled and reassured him, "It's okay." Mrs. Deokchil then served a slice of apple, but noticed Jiang Sangwoo's changed appearance with a hint of surprise. "Are you really Jiang Sangwoo? I barely recognize you with all the weight you've lost." Jiang Sangwoo nodded and explained, "Yes, it's me. I've been working out a lot lately, and it's been a while since we last saw each other." Turning to Haeyeon, who was seated quietly, Jiang Sangwoo introduced himself. "Hi, Haeyeon. I'm Jiang Sangwoo. I'll be your tutor from today on." Haeyeon gave a shy nod in acknowledgement, and Jiang Sangwoo prepared to start their tutoring session. Jiang Sangwoo mentions that he heard Haeyeon is aiming to get into Jongguk University. Haeyeon blushes and replies with a shy yes, her cheeks reddening as she wonders if he overheard her earlier shouting. Her parents chuckle at the sight of her flustered reaction, especially considering she had been rebellious just a minute ago. Jiang Sangwoo, noticing her embarrassment, asks if she's in grade 12 and requests to see her grades before they begin the class. Haeyeon and her parents exchange awkward glances and, still feeling embarrassed, hand over her grade report. Just then, Mr. Deokchil, trying to avoid the awkwardness, quickly excuses himself, claiming he has to go to work. This prompts Mrs. Deokchil to call him a traitor. Jiang Sangwoo notices Haeyeon's unease and reassures her, saying, "Don't worry about your grades. I didn't have great grades when I was in grade 12 either." His words bring a visible sense of relief to Haeyeon, and she starts to cheer up, her earlier embarrassment fading away. Jiang Sangwoo then informs her that they'll start tutoring sessions that day, which will continue 2 days a week, specifically on Mondays. After the tutoring session wraps up, Jiang Sangwoo heads home. Once he arrives, he takes some time to reflect on the day's events. He acknowledges that there's still a long journey ahead for Haeyeon, but he feels a sense of fortune and optimism. He recalls the teaching session, feeling pleasantly surprised by how bright and quick to learn Haeyeon is, exceeding his initial expectations. As Jiang Sangwoo arrives home and reflects on the day, he realizes that his clone, number 1, has gone to work. He starts to ponder the logistical challenges he might face if the number of clones were to increase in the future, particularly in managing multiple phones and their associated tasks. Determined to better manage his responsibilities, he decides to look up skills related to his work on the Hunter web. However, he is taken aback when he comes across a familiar skill listed at an exorbitant price of 100 million won. The shock of the cost brings tears to his eyes as he continues to scroll through the listings, unable to believe the staggering amount required. Jeong Sang-woo, grappling with the realization, thinks to himself that he would rather invest in buying a house than spend such a large sum on a skill. He wonders about the financial realities of hunters and how much they must earn to afford such steep prices. The thought of saving up or earning that kind of money feels overwhelming, and he begins to question how long it will take him to acquire such a skill at his current rate. Jeong Sang-woo, feeling disheartened by the staggering cost of the skill, decides to check his account balance. As he reviews his finances, he contemplates whether he should consider becoming a hunter himself to potentially earn more and afford the skills he desires. Later, while watching a news segment about the life of an A-class hunter, he is inspired by the success and achievements of these high-ranking individuals. The segment highlights their impressive abilities, lucrative rewards, and the significant impact they have on their world. Motivated by this glimpse into a hunter's life, Jeong Sang-woo makes up his mind to pursue the hunter skill. With renewed determination, he grabs his jacket and prepares to head out. As he unlocks his vitality, he feels a surge of energy and focus. On his way, he multitasks by watching a documentary on his phone, which delves into the history of hunters. The documentary provides valuable context and insights into the evolution of the hunter profession, further fueling his resolve and excitement for his new path. As Jeong Sang-woo watches the documentary, he learns about a pivotal event in recent history. The documentary explains that portals began appearing across the globe in the year 2000, unleashing a wave of monsters that precipitated what came to be known as the Great Disaster. This catastrophic event brought about unprecedented devastation, with more than half of the world's population perishing and humanity teetering on the edge of extinction. The film details how, amidst the chaos, superhumans with extraordinary powers began to emerge. These individuals, who would later be recognized as hunters, took up the fight against the invading monsters. Their unparalleled abilities and heroic efforts turned the tide of the war, allowing humanity to survive and ultimately reclaim their world. Now, in 2023, the documentary explains that these hunters continue their work, dedicating their lives to tracking down and eliminating the remaining monsters that still pose a threat. Their ongoing battle is not only a testament to their strength and courage, but also a crucial part of maintaining the fragile peace that humanity has managed to achieve. After finishing the documentary, Jeong Sang-woo has a moment of clarity. He realizes that passing the hunter test isn't just a personal achievement, it will grant him a nationally recognized license to legally hunt monsters. This revelation reinforces his determination, as it offers not only the potential to acquire valuable skills, but also the legitimacy and respect that come with being a licensed hunter. Fueled by this newfound motivation, Jeong Sang-woo decides to proceed with the necessary preparations for the test, carefully reviewing the tips and strategies he has gathered. His mind is set, and he is ready to take the next step. When he arrives at the hunter building, he is struck by the sheer size and grandeur of the structure. The building stands as a testament to the importance and scale of the hunter profession. Its imposing facade and bustling environment reflect the gravity of the role it plays in society. Inside, Jeong Sang-woo observes the dynamic atmosphere. Many hunters are busy with their tasks, moving with a sense of purpose and urgency. Despite the lively activity, he notices that only a few individuals seem to be engaged in the process of taking the test. This contrast between the bustling workforce and the relatively small number of test takers gives him pause, highlighting both the significance and the challenge of becoming a hunter. Jeong Sang-woo's excitement quickly turns to nervousness when a woman announces over the loudspeaker that registration for the hunter test is taking place in the basement and will close in 20 minutes. The urgency propels him into action, and he dashes towards the basement, his heart pounding with anticipation. Upon arriving, Jeong Sang-woo is taken aback by the sight before him. The basement is filled with a sea of hefty, imposing men, all seated and preparing for the test. The sheer number and size of the candidates add to his anxiety. making him feel even more acutely aware of the challenge that lies ahead. As he takes in the scene, a distinguished figure steps forward, Mr. Han Mongwen, a C-class hunter. He commands attention as he introduces himself as the proctor for the licensing test. Mr. Han's presence is authoritative and reassuring, yet his demeanor is serious. He outlines the structure of the test, which includes written, practical, and aptitude sections. His tone is firm as he warns the group that any form of cheating will result in immediate disqualification, with no chance of retaking the test for the entire year. The gravity of his words and the stern look he casts over the room underscore the zero-tolerance policy for dishonesty. Jiang Sangwoo feels a surge of pressure as Mr. Han's intense gaze sweeps over the candidates, a reminder of the high stakes involved. The seriousness of the situation becomes palpably clear, and he feels the weight of the upcoming test pressing down on him. The atmosphere is charged with a mixture of anxiety and determination as the test is about to begin. CEO Kang Jumo is currently on a call with his boss while navigating through traffic. He speaks with a calm yet assertive tone, assuring his boss that the deposit will be made before the end of the month. He asks for patience, emphasizing that his extensive experience in the field should provide confidence in his handling of the situation. Kang Jumo acknowledges that they are indeed receiving funds, but he explains that there are significant expenses that need to be managed. His explanation highlights the financial complexities and the need for careful budgeting. He reassures his boss that despite the financial strains, the deposit will be processed as promised. As CEO Kang Jumo speeds up, he reflects on the ongoing hunter exam, realizing it's about time for it to conclude. He decides to make his way to the exam location more quickly, driven by a mix of anticipation and urgency. Meanwhile, Jiang Sangwoo receives a congratulatory message on his bracelet, informing him that he has passed the hunter exam. The notification brings a surge of relief and pride as he recalls the intense preparation and effort he put into the exam. He remembers how, before taking the test, people often described it as easy, a notion he found hard to believe. Now, having completed the written, practical, and aptitude sections, he finds himself questioning whether it's truly appropriate for a job involving life-threatening situations and advanced weaponry to have such an apparently straightforward examination. Jiang Sangwoo briefly considers whether the government might be intentionally making the test easier to increase the number of hunters. However, he decides not to dwell too much on this thought. Instead, he focuses on the accomplishment of passing the exam and the new opportunities that lie ahead in his journey as a hunter. As Jiang Sangwoo surveys the bustling area after the hunter exam, he observes Mr. Kang, a well-dressed individual, handing out business cards to the newly certified hunters. Jiang Sangwoo suspects that Mr. Kang might be recruiting for a guild, intrigued by the possibility of new affiliations and opportunities. Mr. Kang soon approaches Jiang Sangwoo with a warm smile, offering his congratulations. He hands over his business card and introduces himself, explaining that his company provides excellent services for hunters. He encourages Jiang Sangwoo to contact him whenever he needs to purchase items or seeks information on monsters to hunt. Although the offer seems tempting, Jiang Sangwoo politely declines, feeling that he needs to focus on his next steps. He hurries away, his mind racing with thoughts of his newly increased cloning skill. He's excited to discover that his cloning ability has now expanded to 2 clones. Once he arrives home, Jiang Sangwoo promptly summons his second clone and names it number 2. With both clones now at his disposal, he feels a renewed sense of readiness and confidence to dive into his new role as a hunter. Meanwhile, as Mr. Kang returns to his car, he hopes to receive calls back from the hunters to whom he distributed his business cards. Mr. Kang visits the Heseong Guild's official building, known as the top guild in Korea. As he navigates the opulent interior, he is taken aback by the exorbitant prices, particularly the cost of troll blood, which seems to be much higher than he anticipated. The lavish setting and high expenses highlight the elite status of the guild and the financial demands that come with it. Amid his visit, Mr. Jumo, a prominent figure at Heseong, questions Mr. Kang's familiarity with the guild, implying that he should be more quick-witted and aware of the guild's operations. The insinuation stings and Mr. Kang feels a surge of irritation. He wishes he had kept his thoughts to himself as he retreats to his car, already sensing that the day is not going as planned. While contemplating his frustrations in the car, Mr. Kang's phone rings. It's Jeong Sangwoo, who wants to discuss something and suggests meeting at a coffee shop. Mr. Kang agrees to the meeting, hoping it will provide a more positive turn to his day and perhaps a new opportunity or insight. Mr. Kang, still flustered from being late, approaches Jeong Sangwoo with an apologetic smile. Unaware that he's meeting Jeong Sangwoo's clone, he invites him to order coffee together. During their conversation, Jeong Sangwoo mentions his unique ability to create clones. Mr. Kang is initially skeptical, thinking it might be some kind of illusion or a trick. He raises an eyebrow and questions the practicality of such a skill, considering it might be something out of a fantasy. Despite his doubts, Mr. Kang praises Jeong Sangwoo for his achievements and hands him a contract to review, believing that any skill is worth investigating further. As they continue their chat, Mr. Kang is taken aback when Jeong Sangwoo's clone finishes his coffee in a single gulp. The speed and efficiency with which the clone drinks catch Mr. Kang off guard, and he can't help but marvel at its seemingly effortless manner. As Mr. Kang and Jeong Sangwoo's clone sit together, Mr. Kang begins explaining the workings of the two hunting grounds. He outlines the details of each ground, including the types of low-class monsters they feature. Mr. Kang emphasizes that while there are various grounds, the ones he's proposing are the safest he can guarantee, given the specific skill he possesses. He reassures the clone that these grounds are carefully selected to ensure the highest level of safety. While Mr. Kang provides this detailed explanation, Jeong Sangwoo's clone takes pictures of the documents with a discreet but steady hand. The clone's focus is meticulous, capturing every important detail for future reference. Meanwhile, the real Jeong Sangwoo, who has been observing the situation, is impressed by the deal. He gives a clear command to his clone to proceed with the contract, signaling his interest in moving forward. As Mr. Kang wraps up his explanation and hands over the contract for review, he is startled when the real Jeong Sangwoo enters the room to finalize the deal. Mr. Kang is shocked to realize that he has been speaking with a clone all this time. The sight of the real Jeong Sangwoo arriving to sign the contract for both hunting grounds, despite Mr. Kang's initial request for a choice between just one, leaves Mr. Kang speechless. Despite Mr. Kang's earlier suggestion to choose only one, Jeong Sangwoo, with a confident smile, informs Mr. Kang of his intention to hunt in both places simultaneously. This declaration adds to Mr. Kang's astonishment, leaving him momentarily speechless. As Mr. Kang processes the situation, he has a flashback to a previous encounter. He recalls a time when he first met someone with a cloning skill. In that instance, the individual had demonstrated the ability by summoning 4 clones, each acting under his command. However, it was soon revealed that the clones were nothing more than illusions. The man had explained that while his skill could not cause actual damage, it was highly effective for distracting monsters and creating diversions. Mr. Kang, still grappling with the startling revelation, reflects on his past encounter with the cloning skill he had previously witnessed. He had been convinced that the cloning ability he observed was merely an illusion, where the clones were not real entities but visual tricks used for distraction. Now faced with Jeong Sangwoo's tangible clone, who not only verified the contract but also drank coffee, Mr. Kang finds himself questioning the nature of Jeong Sangwoo's ability. Confusion evident on his face, Mr. Kang asks if Jeong Sangwoo might be a twin, struggling to reconcile the reality of the clone's interactions with the physical world. Jeong Sangwoo chuckles at the question, finding the mix-up amusing. With a friendly grin, he puts his arm around number 2, his clone, and says, "No, I'm not a twin. This is number 2, one of my clones. He's very much real, as you can see. I actually have another clone at the gym right now." Mr. Kang's eyes widen further in surprise. The concept of having clones that are not only capable of interacting with the environment but also performing tasks independently is new and intriguing to him. He listens intently as Jeong Sangwoo continues, explaining that his cloning skill allows him to create duplicates of himself who are fully functional and capable of handling various tasks. Mr. Kang is impressed and curious if Jeong Sangwoo's clones can build muscle. Jeong Sangwoo explains that as his clones get stronger, he does too, and he's been using them to improve his stats. Mr. Kang believes Jeong Sangwoo's abilities are much better than a usual F-class hunter's. Jeong Sangwoo then asks if it would be a problem if the same person entered the hunting grounds at the same time with multiple clones. Mr. Kang initially says it might be an issue because of entry records, but agrees to talk to the Hunter Association to see if they can make changes. Mr. Kang invites Jeong Sangwoo to the Hunter Center to show his skills and scan his bracelet. Jeong Sangwoo says he can't use his skill until tomorrow evening due to a cooldown period. They agree to meet at the Hunter Center in 2 days, and Mr. Kang is eager to work with him. 2 days later, Mr. Kang greets Jeong Sangwoo with the title Hunter Nim, which catches Jeong Sangwoo off guard. He shows up early at the Hunter Center to ensure he doesn't keep Mr. Kang waiting. He then inquires if the Hunter Association is located within the Hunter Center, to which Mr. Kang confirms and leads him there. When they reach the counter, Jeong Sangwoo explains that he needs duplicate access to the hunting grounds due to his cloning skills. However, he only has one identity bracelet. This request surprises the staff member, who remembers that the last time someone asked for duplicate access was a person named Jumper. To handle this unusual request, the staff member calls the chief to prepare the necessary documents for Jeong Sangwoo. A few minutes later, the staff member returns with a stack of files and hands them over to Jeong Sangwoo. He then directs Jeong Sangwoo to visit the civil service office and the equipment room to complete the document processing. Jeong Sangwoo is also informed that he needs to take a test in the skill demonstration room. Mr. Kang takes the stack of files from Jeong Sangwoo and advises him to head straight to the demonstration room for the test. He explains that this step is necessary to verify his cloning skill and finalize the arrangement for his access to the hunting grounds. Jeong Sangwoo goes to the skill demonstration room and carefully demonstrates his cloning ability, following all the instructions provided. The man in charge of the test watches closely as Jeong Sangwoo showcases his skills. After the demonstration, the man informs Jeong Sangwoo that his request for duplicate access to the hunting grounds has been approved. From now on, Jeong Sangwoo's clones will be able to enter the hunting grounds by scanning their fingerprints, just like any other registered hunter. He goes over the necessary details with Jeong Sangwoo, explaining how the system will work for his clones. The man also comments on Jeong Sangwoo's skill, noting that it is both unique and unpredictable, which adds an interesting dimension to their operations. Excited about the good news, Jeong Sangwoo quickly goes to find Mr. Kang to let him know that his access request has been granted. Mr. Kang congratulates him warmly and asks if he plans to head to the hunting grounds right away. Jeong Sangwoo confirms that he does, as he has a free schedule for the day. Mr. Kang notices that Jeong Sangwoo is drawing a lot of attention from those around them and sees that Jeong Sangwoo is covering number 2's identity with a nose mask. Curious about the reason behind this, Mr. Kang asks Jeong Sangwoo why he is hiding number 2's face when everyone seems so interested. Meanwhile, Shin Haesung, the master of the Haesung Guild, is observing from a higher level of a nearby building. He sees Jeong Sangwoo and Mr. Kang and wonders who Jeong Sangwoo is. After a moment, he recognizes Mr. Kang and begins to piece together who the mysterious figure with him might be. Shin Haesung, the master of the Haesung Guild, peers down at Jeong Sangwoo and Mr. Kang from an upper level of a nearby building. He is intrigued by who Mr. Kang is talking to. Upon recognizing Mr. Kang, Shin Haesung decides to make his presence known. He calls out Mr. Kang's name and jumps from the building, landing gracefully and surprising Jeong Sangwoo with his sudden appearance. Shin Haesung approaches Mr. Kang and greets him warmly, commenting that it has been a while since they last met at the Hunter Center. He expresses his surprise, noting that he didn't realize Mr. Kang was still active in the hunter community. Mr. Kang, feeling a bit uneasy by the unexpected encounter, responds with a polite greeting. Shin Haesung teases Mr. Kang for referring to him as Sir and makes a mocking comment about Mr. Kang's current role. He points out that Mr. Kang used to oversee C and B-class hunters, implying that it's unusual for him to now be involved with an F-class hunter like Jeong Sangwoo. Mr. Kang feels a surge of irritation at the mocking tone but tries to stay composed. Seeing Mr. Kang's discomfort, Jeong Sangwoo steps in, placing a reassuring hand on Mr. Kang's shoulder. This gesture signals to Mr. Kang that he, Jeong Sangwoo, will take care of the situation. Shin Haesung laughs and comments that Jeong Sangwoo seems to have something to say in response to the mockery. Jeong Sangwoo introduces himself to Shin Haesung, expressing his pleasure at meeting the guild master of the top guild in the country. He tries to be respectful and professional, despite the tension. Shin Haesung responds with sarcastic praise, which makes Jeong Sangwoo give a forced smile. Jeong Sangwoo humbly admits that he isn't quite sure how to handle so much praise. Noting that Jeong Sangwoo might be more capable than he initially seemed, Shin Haesung considers testing him to see what he's really capable of. However, he is interrupted by another man who arrives and is described by Shin Haesung as a party pooper. Before leaving, Shin Haesung asks Jeong Sangwoo for his name. Jeong Sangwoo playfully tells him to figure it out on his own. This response makes Shin Haesung laugh. He then bids farewell to Mr. Kang and prepares to leave. As they head towards the hunting ground, Mr. Kang expresses his gratitude to Jeong Sangwoo for stepping in and handling the situation with Shin Haesung. He then asks if Jeong Sangwoo is aware of the history between him and the Haesung Guild. Jeong Sangwoo replies that he did some research and discovered that Mr. Kang had been expelled from the Haesung Guild. Mr. Kang nods, acknowledging this. Curious about Jeong Sangwoo's decision, Mr. Kang inquires why he chose to work with his agency. Jeong Sangwoo explains that he appreciates the favorable payment ratio offered by Mr. Kang's agency. He also mentions that he trusts Mr. Kang to manage any issues that may arise in the industry or within the guild. Mr. Kang, touched by the compliment, expresses his appreciation for Jeong Sangwoo's confidence in him and his agency. At the gym, Jeong Sangwoo's clone, number 1, is pushing himself to the limit with an intense workout. His vigorous training catches the attention of the trainers, who become worried because he seems unresponsive to their attempts to get his attention. While number 1 is focused on his exercise, he receives a text from Jeong Sangwoo. The message instructs him to clean up after finishing his workout and to be ready at the gym by 4 o'clock. After reading the text, number 1 finally takes a break. He heads towards the washroom, visibly exhausted but relieved. The trainers watch with a sense of relief as number 1 leaves the training area and begins gulping down a drink. At the hunting ground, Jeong Sangwoo puts on his gear and a gas mask. As he adjusts the mask, he grumbles to Mr. Kang about how uncomfortable it is, saying it feels like he's breathing through multiple faces at once. The mask's tight fit and restricted airflow make him feel uneasy. Mr. Kang responds by explaining the procedures involved in using the mask and the challenges of enduring it for long periods. He adds that while wearing the mask for 6 hours can be difficult, having a high-quality mask and equipment makes it manageable. Realizing that he won't be able to tolerate the mask for too long, Jeong Sangwoo decides to assign the task to number 2. He helps number 2 get dressed in the appropriate gear and watches as he heads into the hunting ground. After number 2 is set, Jeong Sangwoo bids him farewell and turns his attention back to Mr. Kang. He mentions that they should proceed to the Horned Rabbit hunting ground. Just as he starts to follow through with their plans, he suddenly remembers that he forgot to pick up number 1 from the gym. Mr. Kang and Jeong Sangwoo head back to the gym to pick up number 1. As they're walking, Mr. Kang asks Jeong Sangwoo why he names his clones with numbers rather than giving them unique names. Jeong Sangwoo explains that using creative names would be confusing since all the clones look alike. By using numbers, he can easily keep track of each one without mixing them up. Mr. Kang nods, understanding that names aren't necessary for clones. Jeong Sangwoo then mentions that he's heard people use guns for hunting rabbits. He asks if he needs to prepare any specific equipment, demonstrating a gun with his hand. Mr. Kang tells him that a gun will indeed be necessary for hunting, but he reassures Jeong Sangwoo that he can either use his own equipment or rent what they need from the hunting ground. He adds that eventually, Jeong Sangwoo will need to get his own gear because rented equipment can only be used at the specific hunting ground where it was rented, making it easier to retrieve. They finally arrive at Ujangsan Field. Jeong Sangwoo is struck by the sheer size of the area, which seems enormous compared to the slime hunting ground he's used to. He notices that the people here are heavily equipped with weapons, further emphasizing the scale of the place. Mr. Kang agrees with Jeong Sangwoo's assessment and explains that they are at the renowned Ujangsan Field, known for the significant monster break that occurred there. Jeong Sangwoo recalls hearing about the monster break and remembers that it involved a portal being severed from the world, causing significant disturbances. He understands that most hunting takes place inside the portal, but occasionally, monsters manage to come through and wreak havoc on the surrounding area. This destruction creates what is known as a field, which is a dangerous environment resulting from the monster break. Mr. Kang informs Jeong Sangwoo that most of the high-class monsters were defeated during the monster break 5 years ago, leaving behind mostly F and E-class monsters. This makes the Ujangsan field highly regarded by hunters as an excellent hunting ground. Jeong Sangwoo then wonders if the noise from hunting might cause any complaints. His concern is quickly overshadowed when he has to pay a hefty total of 700,000 won. This amount covers the cost of a rifle, night vision goggles, place rental, earplugs, and 400 rounds of bullets. As he pays, Jeong Sangwoo gets teary-eyed due to the significant expense. Mr. Kang explains that the high cost is primarily due to the price of the bullets. However, he reassures Jeong Sangwoo that the costs will balance out if he successfully hunts the horned rabbits. A single one-horned rabbit is worth approximately the same as a bucket of slime liquid, making it a potentially profitable venture. With the equipment secured, they head to the 3rd floor of Building F, ready to begin their hunt. Jeong Sangwoo is taken aback by the sight of numerous hunters already present at the Ujangsan field. The area is bustling with activity, and the presence of so many skilled hunters adds to the intensity of the environment. Mr. Kang, noticing an empty seat marked as number 4, assumes it is reserved for Jeong Sangwoo and gestures for him to take it. As Jeong Sangwoo settles into the seat, Mr. Kang asks if he is confident in his shooting skills. Jeong Sangwoo responds with confidence, stating that during his licensed shooting test, he only missed 3 bullets. He adds, somewhat remorsefully, that he feels sorry for the rabbits, but reassures Mr. Kang that they won't be able to escape from him. He humorously refers to himself as the Ujangsan Eagle Eye, which makes Mr. Kang chuckle and think that it's a good thing everyone is wearing earplugs, considering Jeong Sangwoo's enthusiasm. With a determined look, Jeong Sangwoo sets his sights on the rabbits and begins hunting, focusing intently as he aims his rifle. 3 hours later, Jeong Sangwoo is in a state of frustration and tears. Despite his best efforts, he hasn't caught a single rabbit, and the rabbits seem to evade him with ease. Number 1 sits nearby, watching silently without taking any action, which only adds to Jeong Sangwoo's frustration. Jeong Sangwoo vents his frustration, lamenting about how he's usually skilled at aiming, but the rabbits manage to dart away just as he's about to shoot. He rants about feeling abandoned, as Mr. Kang had left him to manage the hunt on his own. The situation is becoming increasingly disheartening for him. He starts questioning whether he should call it a day, considering he hasn't been able to earn back the money he spent on bullets. The expenses and lack of success weigh heavily on his mind. Before leaving, Jeong Sangwoo gives number 1 detailed instructions on how to hunt the rabbits. He asks number 1 to send him a text message whenever he catches a rabbit, or if he runs out of bullets. With a heavy heart and a sense of defeat, Jeong Sangwoo decides to head home, hoping for better results next time. While lying on his bed, Jeong Sangwoo reviews his status on his mobile device. He reflects on the performance of number 2, who is effectively dealing with the slimes, and notices a steady increase in his stats. Despite this progress, Jeong Sangwoo thinks back to his encounter with Shin Haesung and realizes he still has a long journey ahead of him. Feeling the exhaustion from the day's efforts, he contemplates how much more challenging catching a horned rabbit was than he had anticipated. He hopes that number 1, who is still out hunting, will have better luck and achieve the success that eluded him earlier. As he drifts off to sleep, number 1 sends a text message reporting that he has successfully caught 21 horned rabbits. However, Jeong Sangwoo is already deeply asleep and misses the message, unaware of the successful outcome of number 1's efforts. The next morning, Mr. Kang receives an urgent call from the manager of the slime hunting ground. The manager is concerned because Jeong Sangwoo, through his clone, has been hunting for over 24 hours straight. They are worried about his mental state and want Mr. Kang to intervene. Mr. Kang reassures the manager that he will get there as soon as possible and heads to the hunting ground to address the situation. Meanwhile, Jeong Sangwoo wakes up feeling refreshed and notices that he has a large number of messages from number 1. Initially, he wonders if number 1 has run out of bullets, but he is astonished to see a substantial volume of messages reporting his catches. As Mr. Kang arrives at the hunting ground, he is amazed by the efficiency of number 2's hunting skills. He marvels at how quickly number 2 managed to fill the storage bin within just a day. Mr. Kang calls Jeong Sangwoo to share the good news and informs him that he is at the slime hunting ground. He advises Jeong Sangwoo to stop number 2 from hunting as they are about to call in the monster corpse cleaners. Jeong Sangwoo expresses his gratitude for Mr. Kang's help and then makes a request. He asks if the cleaners can also be sent to Ujongsan because he believes the horned rabbits are obstructing the area, which catches Mr. Kang off guard. At the Ujongsan hunting ground, the scene is buzzing with excitement as the crowd watches number one's impressive hunting skills. People are captivated by the sight and are busily taking videos and photos of number one in action, surrounded by the pile of horned rabbits he has caught. Mr. Kim Byung-sik, the team leader of the Brown Bear Guild, is particularly impressed by number one's performance. He approaches number one and, after observing his skills, offers him his business card. Mr. Kim inquires if number one is already affiliated with a guild, clearly interested in his potential. Number one remains silent, which causes the crowd to view him as somewhat strange and mysterious. Meanwhile, Jeong Sangwoo, who has been observing the situation from a distance, decides to sneak in to offer number one some additional bullets. He encourages number one to continue hunting, reassuring him that Mr. Kim will soon arrange for the cleanup of the rabbit corpses. Jeong Sangwoo takes a moment to praise number one for the excellent work he has done, which deeply touches him. With renewed enthusiasm and confidence, number one resumes hunting. His continued success and skill leave the crowd even more amazed, further solidifying his reputation as a formidable hunter. At Mr. Deokchul's house, Jeong Sangwoo finds himself lost in thought, reflecting on his recent experiences. He realizes that he has underestimated the capabilities of his clones. Initially, he believed they could only perform at about 50% of his own abilities. However, seeing their mission efficiency, he is amazed at their true potential. While he is deep in thought, Haeyeon, who has been trying to get his attention, finally succeeds. Curious about what has been occupying his mind, she asks him what he's been thinking about. Jeong Sangwoo apologizes for his distraction and informs her that he has finished reviewing her notes. He hands them back to her, praising her for the improvement she has shown. Jeong Sangwoo then explains that his thoughts were on how much better things went at the hunting ground than he had anticipated. Haeyeon, surprised, asks if he is a hunter, admitting that she has no idea. When Jeong Sangwoo queries whether he hadn't mentioned it before, Haeyeon asks if he knows about the hunter known as the god of Ain Ujangsanai. Jeong Sangwoo is stunned when Haeyeon shows him a news report about number two. The report highlights how number two has become a sensation, with people going wild about his achievements on the Hunter Wiki website. It notes that number two has already hunted over 200 rabbits, setting a new record. Haeyeon explains that due to his quiet demeanor, he has been given a nickname. Haeyeon then shares that her dream is to become a hunter herself, expressing her admiration for the achievements of hunters like number two. Haeyeon opens up to Jeong Sangwoo, revealing that she has recently been awakened and now holds a hunter's license. However, she confesses that she is too scared to take any action at the hunting ground. Her fear of the unknown has been holding her back from fully embracing her newfound abilities. She asks Jeong Sangwoo for his support and encouragement. Jeong Sangwoo, understanding her situation, makes a promise. He tells her that if she achieves a good score on her upcoming test, he will take her to a hunting ground. He further assures her that if she manages to get into Jongguk University, he will show her some safe hunting grounds he knows. Haeyeon is grateful for his promise and asks him to ensure he keeps his word. Jeong Sangwoo reassures her that he will not go back on his promise. He encourages her to continue studying hard and maintains his confidence in her abilities. Jeong Sangwoo believes that with dedication, she will succeed in gaining admission to Jongguk University. Later, Jeong Sangwoo has the opportunity to meet Haeyeon's mother. She inquires about Haeyeon's academic progress, and Jeong Sangwoo reassures her that there's no need to worry. He admits that he was initially concerned, but he has since discovered just how talented Haeyeon is. Her mother, relieved and grateful, appreciates his kind words, even if she feels they might be empty assurances. When Haeyeon's mother invites Jeong Sangwoo to stay for a meal, he politely declines, explaining that he has another commitment but promises to visit again on Monday. Meanwhile, Haeyeon, who has been eavesdropping, feels a surge of joy and tightly hugs her teddy bear. Reflecting on her initial dislike for Jeong Sangwoo, which stemmed from his association with her father, she now sees him in a new light. His kindness, the way he teaches her, and his handsome appearance have all contributed to a shift in her feelings. Inspired and motivated by her growing admiration for him, Haeyeon resolves to study even harder. Jeong Sangwoo then arrives at the rabbit hunting ground and wonders if the corpse collection process is complete. Mr. Kang, who stayed behind to oversee the collection, greets him and inquires about his whereabouts. Jeong Sangwoo explains that he has been working as a tutor. Mr. Kang informs Jeong Sangwoo that he has never before needed such a large number of collection teams, citing that they had to manage a total of 352 horned rabbit corpses. He also asks if Jeong Sangwoo has checked the settlement he sent. Jeong Sangwoo admits he had turned off his notifications and apologizes, deciding to check the settlement immediately. He is stunned to see his account balance showing 32,720,301 and questions whether this amount is correct. Mr. Kang explains that, upon noticing Jeong Sangwoo's exceptional hunting skills that seem to exceed those of an F-class hunter, he adjusted the settlement to 83%, the rate used for E-class hunters. A man approaches Mr. Kang and Jeong Sangwoo, glaring. He addresses Mr. Kang with a derogatory term, referring to him as the son of a bitch manager and indicating that he is referring to number 1. Mr. Kang, taken aback, responds affirmatively and asks the man for his identity. The man furiously explains that number 1 has stolen all the horned rabbits he was targeting, ruining his entire hunting day. He demands compensation, insisting that Mr. Kang should be responsible for it. The man's anger suggests he believes Mr. Kang owes him for the perceived loss. Mr. Kang, feeling uneasy, quietly comments to Jeong Sangwoo that they may have chosen the wrong location, as he wasn't expecting such confrontations. Jeong Sangwoo reassures him, saying he has a plan to handle the situation. Before he can go into detail, the man interrupts, demanding to know what they are whispering about. He insists on receiving 10% of their settlement as compensation, claiming he has a conscience and is entitled to it. Seeing Jeong Sangwoo laughing, the man becomes even more enraged and questions whether Jeong Sangwoo thinks he's joking. Jeong Sangwoo, remaining calm and collected, tells the man not to worry. He promises that number 2 won't be returning to the horned rabbit hunting ground for a few days, effectively addressing the man's complaint. Jeong Sangwoo then tells Mr. Kang they should leave. Mr. Kang asks where they are going, and Jeong Sangwoo suggests they head to a coffee shop first to avoid further conflict. The man, still not satisfied, continues to yell that he's not finished and suddenly throws a punch. Unfazed by the man's aggression, Jeong Sangwoo mentally instructs number 1 to take the hit and to overreact as much as possible. Jeong Sangwoo, sensing the man's frustration, exaggerates the potential consequences of uploading a video of the man's violent behavior at the hunting ground. He warns the man that if the video goes public, it could lead to serious trouble for him. This threat further infuriates the man, but he realizes there's little he can do to counter it. Later, at the coffee shop, Mr. Kang reflects on the incident, suggesting that the man who confronted them might be affiliated with the Hyeseong Guild. He explains that the guild is large and includes a diverse range of individuals, some of whom can be troublemakers. When Jeong Sangwoo asks how Mr. Kang identifies the man as a member of the Hyeseong Guild, Mr. Kang reveals that he noticed the man observing him closely from the moment he arrived at the hunting ground to call the collection team. This kind of behavior is characteristic of the Hyeseong Guild's members. Jeong Sangwoo speculates that the confrontation might have been motivated by revenge. Mr. Kang agrees, feeling disheartened by the possibility that the Hyeseong Guild might have mistaken number 2 for another hunter who had previously interacted with him. He elaborates on the guild's history of threatening hunters associated with the GM agency. Mr. Kang expresses his embarrassment over the fact that the hunters who joined his agency often don't last long, leaving only a few F-class hunters and Jeong Sangwoo remaining. Mr. Kang admits that he can't guarantee there won't be further disruptions from the Hyeseong Guild. Jeong Sangwoo reassures him, stating that he was aware of the potential for conflict, but chose to join the agency regardless. He promises to stand up against any further bullying from the guild. Shifting the conversation, Jeong Sangwoo reveals he has a plan to rapidly increase his strength. He shares the details of his strategy with Mr. Kang, who is impressed by the innovative approach. They agreed to meet at the hunter's market the following day at 2 in the afternoon to discuss the plan further. At the bustling hunter market, where the trading of weapons, armor, and essential equipment for hunters is a constant activity, a new store has recently emerged. This store, which operates like a modern departmental store, has quickly become a dominant force in the market. It offers a comprehensive selection of equipment tailored to every need of a hunter. Jiang Sangwoo, intrigued by the new store's offerings, tries on a piece of armor. The man in charge of the store informs him that the armor is made of titanium, designed to ensure safety against E-class monsters. This reassurance prompts Mr. Kang to ask for Jiang Sangwoo's opinion on the armor. Jiang Sangwoo, feeling satisfied, expresses his approval. He notes that the armor is both comfortable and lightweight, which he appreciates. Next, Jiang Sangwoo selects a weapon, feeling confident in his ability to master it. He also requests 2 additional sets of the titanium armor he's trying on. The store staff quickly packed the requested items for him. Mr. Kang then brings up the topic of skills, asking Jiang Sangwoo if he's looking for any specific skills, particularly if it's a skill he is already familiar with. Jiang Sangwoo confirms that he is interested in a familiar skill, but is unsure whether it will be available at this store. They decide to explore the Heritage Store, known for its extensive collection, to see if they can find what Jiang Sangwoo is looking for. At the Heritage Store, Jiang Sangwoo finds a skill he recognizes, a familiar skill that allows hunters to share their senses and vision with their summons and pets. This skill, which could significantly enhance his strategic capabilities, is priced quite high. Seeing the cost, Jiang Sangwoo turns to Mr. Kang and suggests it might be time to strengthen their financial relationship. Mr. Kang, puzzled, asks if Jiang Sangwoo is referring to an advance payment. Jiang Sangwoo confirms this, and, although Mr. Kang is initially unsure, he considers it might be feasible to lend Jiang Sangwoo 50 million won. Jiang Sangwoo expresses his gratitude and assures Mr. Kang that he can handle the remaining payment in installments. He promises that if everything goes according to his plan, he will repay the loan swiftly. Back at home, Jiang Sangwoo carefully follows the instructions to activate the familiar skill. He is initially surprised when the skill ball disappears after the familiar is created, but feels confident that the skill is now operational. He summons number 1 and number 2, both of whom are now equipped with a new armor he purchased. With their new gear and enhanced abilities, they head out together, ready to put their upgraded skills to the test. In a flashback to their conversation at the coffee shop, Jiang Sangwoo asks Mr. Kang for his thoughts on the performance of his hunting agents. Mr. Kang, impressed, praises the results as outstanding and beyond his expectations. Jiang Sangwoo explains how his clones, despite having only half of his stats, managed to catch over 300 horned rabbits, while he struggled to catch even one. He recounts a specific incident where he instructed number 2 to take a man's punch and dramatically overreact. This task was challenging due to the timing required, but number 2 executed it fearlessly, even shoving his face into the man's fist. Jiang Sangwoo notes that number 2 could have easily beaten the man if he had chosen to. Mr. Kang, intrigued, asks if Jiang Sangwoo is suggesting that his clones have a superior ability to control their actions despite their lower stats. Jiang Sangwoo confirms this, explaining that this trait can be leveraged to his advantage. He shares his plan to utilize 2 training grounds, one for short-range and one for long-range weapons, to push his clones to their limits and enhance their skills. Jiang Sangwoo mentions that in order to fully execute this plan, he will need familiar skills. This skill will enable him to share his senses and vision with his clones, allowing for more effective training and coordination. Jiang Sangwoo's clones are hard at work at 2 different training grounds. One clone is at the clay shooting training ground, where trainers are guiding him through the basics of clay shooting. They ask if he understands what's involved, especially since he has chosen to use a pistol for the task. The clone's exceptional skill and precision leave the trainers astonished. Meanwhile, the other clone is at the sparring training ground. The clone engages in intense combat drills, showcasing remarkable agility and strength. The trainers and onlookers are equally impressed by the clone's prowess, far surpassing their expectations. In a flashback to the coffee shop, Jiang Sangwoo elaborated on his plan to use the familiar skill to connect with his clones. He explained to Mr. Kang how this skill would allow him to experience everything his clones do, whether they're sparring or practicing shooting. Jiang Sangwoo painted a vivid picture of the advantages this connection would bring, enhancing his training and tactical awareness. Back in the present, Jiang Sangwoo activates the familiar skill, linking his senses with his clones. As he does so, he feels a profound sense of connection, experiencing everything his clones are undergoing at both training grounds. This immersive connection allows him to gain insight into their movements, reactions, and progress. Jiang Sangwoo is exhilarated by the newfound depth of his training, recognizing how this will significantly improve his and his clones' overall effectiveness. Jeong Songwoo reflects on how he can feel everything his clones are experiencing at the training grounds and feels elated as he can have all the movements of his clones. After deactivating the familiar skill, he thinks about the experience he had. He reflects on how he was able to feel the pressure from the air when the baton missed his clone while fighting, and how he could feel the gunpowder and recoil force while shooting. He is surprised how the fatigue still lingers in him without him moving from a spot, as he just shared those sensations through his clone despite having deactivated the familiar skill. Jeong Sangwoo feels he can mimic the movements since the clone has the same body as his. He receives an updated status showing increased strength and reaction time and decides to try both sparring and shooting. Jeong Sangwoo decides to connect with number 1 first, who is sparring, and activates the familiar skill to connect. After connecting, Jeong Sangwoo feels the man, who's the coach at the sparring ground that number 1 wants to fight with, looks powerful. As the sparring session continues, the trainers and spectators are curious about the coach's interest in sparring with number 1, especially since Seong UK Hyung, the previous challenger, was defeated. The coach and number 1 start their match, and it quickly becomes clear that number 1's strikes lack the finesse and experience one would expect from a seasoned fighter. The coach notices that number 1 is not accustomed to using batons, but he is intrigued by number 1's defensive skills. Despite number 1's lack of experience, his ability to dodge and counter is exceptional, suggesting an unexpected level of skill. The sparring grows more intense as number 1 begins to mimic the coach's moves with remarkable precision. His ability to replicate the coach's techniques and effectively dodge attacks leaves the audience in awe. Each move and counter move heightens the excitement, making it clear that number 1 is not merely an ordinary fighter. The coach, recognizing number 1's impressive adaptation, decides to unleash a powerful move, further demonstrating his own formidable skill. The impact of the move is so forceful that it draws a pained cry from Jeong Songwoo, who is mentally connected with number 1 and feels the strain in his waist. The coach, concerned about the danger of his move, checks in with number 1, asking if he wishes to continue. Jeong Sangwoo, anxious for number 1's well-being, inquires if he is all right. Number 1 responds with a nod, indicating his readiness to continue despite the challenge. He pleads with the coach for one more chance to prove himself. Impressed by number 1's determination, the coach agrees to another round. With the match still in full swing, Jeong Sangwoo decides to extend his connection to number 2, wanting to integrate the experiences of both clones into his training. At the shooting ground, the atmosphere is filled with the sound of gunfire and the occasional exclamation from onlookers. One man is particularly focused, impressing his wife with his flawless shooting technique. Jeong Sangwoo, however, remains silent, choosing instead to concentrate on his training. He watches intently as number 1 takes aim and shoots at a clay target positioned next to the man. Jeong Sangwoo meticulously analyzes every detail of number 2's shooting technique, determined to absorb all the subtleties and nuances displayed by his clones. The familiar skill allows him to experience everything his clones go through, but constantly switching between number 1 and number 2 begins to take its toll. The exhaustion from the mental strain and mana depletion causes him to feel dizzy, prompting him to take a break. Sitting on a nearby bench, Jeong Sangwoo reflects on the remarkable qualities of his clones. Their fearless approach and fluid movements without hesitation or fear have allowed them to excel in their training. He contemplates how he might improve his own skills by accompanying his clones in their training sessions, eager to see what he can learn by experiencing their techniques firsthand. As he sits lost in thought, Haein happens to spot Jeong Sangwoo from a distance. She approaches him, her curiosity piqued. Calling out to him, she inquires about his late-night presence. Jeong Sangwoo asks why she is out so late, and Haein explains that she has been studying at the library and has even completed her homework. Jeong Sangwoo expresses skepticism about her late-night study session, his tone suggesting he finds it hard to believe. Meanwhile, the man who previously demanded 10% of number 1's settlement at the rabbit hunting ground spots Jeong Sangwoo from a distance. Recognizing him, the man feels a surge of anger and resentment. He sees this as an opportunity to confront Jeong Sangwoo and possibly settle the score, prompting him to approach Jeong Sangwoo with his men. A flashback shows the man who demanded 10% of number 1's settlement at the rabbit hunting ground on a call with someone who questions why he let Mr. Kang Jumo leave. He explains that things went wrong when he tried to intimidate Mr. Kang, as someone recorded the incident. This prompts the caller to ask if the assault was filmed. The caller scolds him and tells him not to go near the Unangsen field again, threatening that he has nothing to do with the Hyacinth Guild if something happens. This angers the man and later questions why he is so upset. The man greets Jun Seok and Hyungnam, who comments that it has been a while since they last saw him. He explains what happened to him at the rabbit hunting ground, which makes them question if he just let them leave without doing anything. They mention that they anticipated something like this would happen when he was so eager to join the #1 guild in the country. He apologizes and asks if there's a job for him since the guild told him not to go near the Ujangsan field. While discussing the job, they spot Jeong Songwoo and Hyeon talking. The man informs Hyungnam that Jeong Songwoo is the guy he told them about, and he decides to deal with him. But Hyungnam holds him back and questions if he's sure Jeong Songwoo is the guy he's talking about. Hyeon asks Jeong Songwoo what he's doing there, and he tells her he's just exercising as Hyungnam and his gang approach them. Hyungnam tells Jeong Songwoo that he heard his brother owes him something. When Hyeon asks, Jeong Songwoo tells her he doesn't know them, but he immediately calls #1 and #2 for help as soon as he spots the man from the rabbit hunting ground. Jeong asks what they want from him, which angers the man, but Hyungnam tells him to calm down. Hyungnam explains to Jeong Songwoo that he heard there is a video of his brother making a mistake out of excitement and asks if it's true. He tells Jeong Songwoo that they will leave peacefully if he deletes the video, as he doesn't like tiresome work either. When Jeong asks if he will truly let him go, Hyungnam laughs and admits Jeong is right, saying he won't let him go unscathed, but that he is foolish for not deleting the video immediately after taking it. Jeong Sangwoo tells Hyeon to look for a way to run while he prepares to fight, informing them how he didn't expect to get into such a difficult situation and promising to beat them up. Hyungnam laughs at Jeong Sangwoo's confidence and tells his boys to give him a good pat. The guy from the Ujangsan field angrily punches Jeong Sangwoo, informing him that he will later beg to delete the video. Hyeon watches as Jeong Songwoo, who thought he didn't work out well enough, receives a severe beating despite his confidence. Determined to protect Jeong Sangwoo, she unlocks her awakening skill, prompting them to question if she has indeed awakened. Hyungnam mocks his boys for being scared of a high school girl and questions what she will do if they don't back off when she asks them to. Hyeon unleashes her light power on Hyungnam, which only burns his clothes and has no other effect on him. Hyungnam, who feels awakenings are more common than rolling stones, tells Hyeon not to brag about it and nearly hits her while telling her to grow up before Jeong Sangwoo throws a fist at him to protect her. Jeong Sangwoo throws a fist at Hyungnam and tells him it's not over, calling him a piece of shit, which leaves Hyeon shocked. Feeling ready to fight again, Jeong Sangwoo ponders how the situation brings back Darian's memories. Realizing that what he sees is not just another clone stick, he calculates the man's movement, watching his shoulder to anticipate the incoming fist, and decides to move in advance to avoid it, striking at the perfect spot. As he's about to strike the man, he senses he will get hit by the other person, unable to calculate his movement accurately, but decides to execute a double strike. Hyungnam laughs at the realization that Jeong Sangwoo can fight and tells him he hesitates because he doesn't want to hit someone who can't swing a fist, deciding not to take it easy on him. Determined not to get hit by Hyungnam, Jeong Sangwoo uses the muscle strength enhancement skill and manages to inflict some damage. He lands a nice hit on Hyungnam's jaw, but is unable to dodge his fist and gets grabbed by the leg by the man. Hyungnam questions if he likes the fist as Jeong Sangwoo feels intense pain from the fist, finding it hard to breathe. Just when he thinks it's over, Hyeon uses her light power to protect Jeong Sangwoo. Hyungnam gets furious at Hyeon's presence and decides to deal with her, but Jeong Sangwoo's clones arrive just in time to protect her. Jeong Sangwoo, finally able to breathe again, strikes Hyungnam hard, causing significant damage, while his clones tie Hyungnam's boys up. Jeong Sangwoo receives an updated status on his muscle strength, which makes him fall to the ground with excitement. Hyeon and his clones rush to him, seeing him collapse. After treating Hyeon's injuries on their way home, he asks why she didn't run away and stayed instead. Hyeon responds that she knows that's not what he really wants to ask, and he admits she did something dangerous. Hyeon says she was surprised to discover that the famous hunter was actually his clone. She asks if he doesn't want to be famous when he requests her to keep his clones a secret, and she promises to keep her mouth shut. When they reach Haeun's house, he asks if her hand is okay, and if she'll be able to hold a pen with it, and she reassures him that it's her left hand. Jeong Sang-woo then questions if she hasn't finished her homework, when she cheekily asks him to reduce her workload since she's hurt. Jeong Sang-woo thanks Haeun, telling her he believes he won because she blocked Hyungnam when he was about to strike him. Feeling proud of herself, Haeun agrees that she played an important role and suggests he should thank her properly by treating her to a meal, not just on an empty stomach. Jeong Sang-woo agrees to buy her some meat, and Haeun heads into her house happily. Determined to make sure Haeun eats plenty of meat, Jeong Sang-woo questions his clones about why they are following him and tells them to keep working hard. They inform him that the shooting range is closed since it's late, and Jeong Sang-woo surprises his clones by giving them some wood and suggesting they train at the park instead. A month later, Mr. Kang Jumo finds himself on a phone call with Jeong Sang-woo, who has exciting news to share. Jeong Sang-woo informs Mr. Kang that their recent plan has been a success. Curious, Mr. Kang asks for more details. Jeong Sang-woo explains that he's now capable of doing clay shooting with a pistol, a new skill he's acquired. Additionally, his clone's proficiency has improved significantly, and he's even managed to create a third clone. Mr. Kang is impressed and offers his congratulations. He acknowledges that with these advancements, Jeong Sang-woo will be able to accelerate his learning and progress more quickly. Jeong Sang-woo, excited about the progress, hints that Mr. Kang will be astonished when he sees the results in person, given the current status of his abilities. Next, Jeong Sang-woo makes a request. He asks Mr. Kang to arrange 3 F-class hunting grounds for the following day. Mr. Kang is taken aback by the request for 3 separate hunting grounds, wondering if such a feat is feasible. Despite his surprise, Mr. Kang reassures Jeong Sang-woo that he will manage to secure those 3 hunting grounds, no matter how challenging it might be. His determination to fulfill the request reflects his commitment and reliability. Jeong Sang-woo is pleased with Mr. Kang's willingness and expresses his gratitude. He shares his plans for the day. His clones will undergo a morning exercise routine, followed by hunting activities in the afternoon. This schedule will help maximize their training and effectiveness. As Mr. Kang notes down the details and reflects on Jeong Sang-woo's reliable nature, he feels confident about their partnership. They both exchange wishes for a restful night and conclude the call, looking forward to their continued collaboration. Jeong Sang-woo instructs his clones, whom he has designated as upper body, lower body, and cardio, to head to the park immediately. He emphasizes that they must return by noon and insists that they leave their guns behind. As they leave, Jeong Sang-woo reflects on the impressive progress his clones have made. They've learned so much from their training and are capable of replicating and recreating almost anything. However, he notes that while they can mimic many actions, certain movements are still physically beyond their reach. He wonders what could happen if he studied the hunting techniques of monsters more thoroughly. While pondering this, he watches a video on his laptop about a monster hunting plan. The video features a man who introduces himself and tells his viewers that he will explain the behavior patterns of monster dogs. He discusses how to assess the situation, select the appropriate weapon, and how beginners can easily access necessary materials for detox, which Jeong Sang-woo thinks would be a useful guide for his clones. After some time, Jeong Sang-woo sees his clones returning from the park and realizes it's already noon. Despite having been active all morning, his clones appear to be brimming with energy, showing no signs of fatigue. He feels a yawn coming on as he contemplates their boundless stamina and wonders at their resilience and effectiveness, even after a full day of work. Jeong Sang-woo reflects on his recent study of F-class monster hunting guides, covering a range of creatures such as the giant rat, alien fish, and horned rabbit. The remaining task is to determine if his clones can effectively follow the guide. As his clones change their clothes, Jeong Sang-woo decides to prepare himself by gaining hands-on experience. He plans to use his familiar skills in a real battle scenario and learn about mana during his break, considering his previous attempt was cut short due to his high skill level. Once his clones finish eating, Jeong Sang-woo instructs them to get ready. He receives a text from Mr. Kang, informing him that he will arrive at Jeong Sang-woo's place within 10 minutes. When Mr. Kang arrives, he greets Jeong Songwoo with his car and comments on how intimidating the clones look. Jeong Songwoo agrees, admitting that he too feels uneasy around them. Mr. Kang then inquires whether the hunting grounds are ready. Jeong Songwoo confirms that they are and asks Mr. Kang to oversee them, mentioning that he has secured 3 hunting grounds that are close to each other. Mr. Kang asks if Jeong Songwoo will be joining them, to which Jeong Songwoo replies that he will be participating using his familiar skills and will also be working on acquiring his mana breathing techniques. Jeong Songwoo requests Mr. Kang to take care of his clones while they are at the hunting grounds and to inform him once he arrives. With everything arranged, Mr. Kang departs, and Jeong Songwoo prepares for his own training and battle. Jeong Songwoo decides to focus on his training by practicing deep breathing. He exhales slowly, relaxing his body, and concentrates on his senses, trying to block out external noises and center himself. He reflects on his previous experiences with his familiar skill, remembering how it felt like energy was surging out of him the first time he used it to summon a clone. As he continues to breathe deeply for 10 seconds, he imagines cycling mana throughout his body. This visualization leaves him momentarily stunned as he receives a status update indicating that he has successfully obtained a meditation skill. This new skill marks a significant step in his training. Meanwhile, at the alien fish hunting ground, a man is confused by the presence of a different type of monster in what is supposed to be an F-class dungeon. He notes that they are there to hunt alien fish, not a massive creature, and decides to report the anomaly to the authorities. Before he can act, he is suddenly attacked by the monster, highlighting the danger of the situation. Mr. Kang arrives at the final hunting ground, a sewage treatment plant. He informs the last clone about the presence of alien fish in the area, which are known for their strong jaws. He advises the clone to exercise caution while dealing with these creatures. Mr. Kang decides to leave a message for Jeong Songwoo, as he has just dropped off the 3 clones at their respective hunting grounds. He sends a text to inform Jeong Songwoo that the clones are now in place. While texting, Mr. Kang reflects on the remarkable nature of Jeong Songwoo's skills. He finds it impressive that one hunter can effectively operate 3 clones in different locations while Jeong Songwoo himself remains in his room. He wonders how the hunting industry will evolve based on the outcomes of their skills. Back with Jeong Songwoo, he recalls receiving the mana breathing skill and feels a sense of achievement, considering himself quite clever. However, he feels a bit disheartened upon reading the guidelines that differentiate meditation from mana breathing skills. He realizes that acquiring the mana breathing skill might be more challenging than he initially thought, which dampens his excitement. Just then, Jeong Songwoo receives a text from Mr. Kang and guesses that the clones must have arrived at their designated hunting grounds. He decides to visit the grounds himself. Upon activating his familiar skill, Jeong Songwoo is shocked to see that a monster has already been hunted by clone number 1. He questions whether the guide assists in such situations, as it appeared that everything was under control up until now. His curiosity is piqued when he sees a new monster charging toward clone number 1, eager to find out what happens next. Jeong Songwoo recalls how the guys online discussed various monsters, particularly highlighting the giant rat as one of the most troublesome F-class monsters. In his video, he informs his viewers about the challenges of dealing with giant rats and suggests forming a party to hunt them. However, he also provides tips for those who need to hunt solo. He explains that the giant rats have a straightforward dash attack and advises keeping a safe distance from them while shooting. He emphasizes aiming for the spine, as their skulls are too hard to penetrate effectively. Additionally, he mentions their rapid breeding rate, similar to regular rats. During his explanation, he warns a man carrying a rabbit not to disrupt his video when the man questions the difficulty of aiming for a moving spine. Meanwhile, number 1 meticulously follows all the instructions provided by the online guide without missing any details. Jeong Songwoo reflects on how his clones can hunt just like him, using his techniques as expected. Without surprise or fear, his clones are hunting with no regard for the opponent's level, allowing him to experience hunting through his familiar skill. When his clone successfully hunts a monster, Songwoo's stamina, mana, strength, reflex, and endurance levels increase. He realizes that as his stats grow, his clones will also become stronger. Determined to exhaust the F-class hunting ground, Songwoo decides to press on. Two hunters arrive at the hunting ground and are puzzled by its unusual quietness, expecting to encounter numerous monsters. They are shocked to see a multitude of monster corpses scattered around and decide to pack them into boxes, questioning how this could have happened. Using his familiar skill, Sangwoo feels that his hunting is going well, but senses that something is missing. He suddenly remembers that he didn't collect all the monster corpses. Acting swiftly, he commands clones 1, 2, and 3 to gather all the corpses they have hunted and to cease hunting until all the corpses are collected. He wonders if someone else might have taken some of the corpses. Number 3 tells Jeong Sangwoo that he didn't hurt the alien fish when asked why he didn't collect its corpse. Sangwoo instructs number 3 not to be a goody two-shoes, emphasizing that each monster is money, and decides to collect the corpse himself. As he approaches, Sangwoo notices that someone has cut off the alien fish's head, which wasn't hunted by number 3. Realizing the corpse isn't an alien fish, he and number 3 notice something rustling in the bushes. Sangwoo realizes the corpse was used as bait when a monster suddenly emerges from the bushes. Number 3 shoots at the monster, but the bullet bounces back, hitting him. Sangwoo feels a sharp pain in his hand as if he were shot, which deactivates the familiar skill. Trying to recover, he reflects on how the familiar skill got disconnected due to the pain, noting that it's not the first time this has happened. Sangwoo quickly calls Mr. Kang, asking which hunting ground number 3 is in. Mr. Kang tells him number 3 is in the sewage treatment plant in Incheon and asks what's wrong. Sangwoo tells Mr. Kang he will explain everything later and asks him to bring number 1 and 2 to the hunting ground. When Mr. Kang asks if there's a problem, Sangwoo confirms there is a big one and urges him to hurry. Meanwhile, at the hunting ground, number 3 is battling the monster with one hand. Upon arriving at the Incheon hunting ground, Sangwoo realizes he has been disconnected from number 3 and checks his status, discovering he has a significant cooldown before he can use his familiar skill again. As he scans his identification bracelet to enter the building, he hopes Mr. Kang has arrived, which he has, with number 1 and 2. Sangwoo thanks Mr. Kang for bringing them and Mr. Kang asks what the situation is about. Sangwoo explains how number 3 disappeared and how there is a monster that is not an alien fish at the hunting ground, shocking Mr. Kang and making him ponder the word monster. Sangwoo explains to Mr. Kang how the monster has the head of a fish but the arms and legs of a monster, emphasizing its strength. Mr. Kang tells Sangwoo that they need to inform the authorities to temporarily close the hunting ground, identifying the creature as a fishman monster. He explains that the monster is D rank and that even a party of E-class hunters wouldn't be enough to hunt it. Sangwoo tells Mr. Kang he understands and asks him to alert the security to limit the entry of other hunters. However, as Mr. Kang prepares to contact the authorities, Sangwoo stops him, suggesting they wait until his clones enter the hunting ground portal. This leaves Mr. Kang stunned. Sangwoo assures Mr. Kang to trust him and his clones, as they can't just sit and do nothing. He then activates his familiar skill, ready to face the monster. Upon entering the portal, Sangwoo instructs number 1 and 2 to head to the location where number 3 disappeared. They arrive and find the monster still hiding in the bushes. Sangwoo reflects on his luck, recognizing this as an opportunity to strike first. Despite his stats being on par with an E-class hunter, he notes that he only operates at 53% of his potential, which places him at F-class. Sangwoo believes they can still hunt the monster, given his clones' hunting abilities and the monster's abnormal state. He instructs his clones to aim for the monster's head with their guns. However, to their surprise, the bullets seem to have no effect on the monster. Jeong Sangwoo is surprised and questions why bullets don't seem to affect the monster. The creature leaps towards clones 1 and 2, who narrowly escape its attack. Sangwoo anxiously wonders about the potential damage a scratch from the monster's sword could inflict on him and his clones. As the battle continues, the monster ends up trapped between some trees. Initially, Sangwoo feels optimistic, thinking the monster's large size will prevent it from swinging its sword effectively. However, he quickly realizes the monster is still able to attack swiftly and tells his clones to disregard his previous strategy, realizing their plan isn't working. Sangwoo questions how they can defeat the monster with their ineffective attacks. He recalls how one bullet bounced off the monster, while another caused damage when his clones aimed precisely. He begins to wonder what would happen if they targeted the monster's wounds. Sangwoo gets excited when he sees it working as his clones focus their attacks on the wounded areas, finally making progress against the monster. Sangwoo instructs his clones to keep the monster occupied by continuously shooting at it. After a while, Sangwoo is shocked to see the monster suddenly become stronger. He wonders if the sword in its hand is reacting with its blood, causing this surge in strength. The monster's newfound aggression worries Sangwoo, especially when it nearly injures one of his clones with its sword. Determined, Sangwoo vows to draw the monster's blood and take its sword, knowing that any bloodshed should be the monster's, not his. As the battle intensifies, Sangwoo and his clones engage in a fierce struggle. After a prolonged fight, they finally manage to subdue the monster, though they are exhausted and out of bullets. Believing the hunt is over, Sangwoo thinks he might be dying from exhaustion. He plans to inform Mr. Kang about the situation, but suddenly, to his horror, he sees the monster is still alive and heading toward the portal. The security informs the hunter that they are restricted from entering the hunting ground due to a report that a D-class monster has appeared. They assure the hunter that they will update them as soon as possible and that a team from the association will be dispatched soon. Mr. Kang anxiously hopes Sangwoo will exit the portal soon, only to be shocked to see the monster approaching the portal. The security team prepares to shoot the monster to prevent it from crossing over. Meanwhile, Sangwoo's clones, running after the monster, throw a sword at Sangwoo. He catches it and, with all his might, strikes a devastating blow to the monster's head, leaving the crowd in awe. A security man sent by the association is on a call, informing someone that they have arrived at the hunting ground and will send a detailed report after the investigation. He ends the call, enters the hunting ground, and asks what is happening, noting the gathered crowd. He questions if the dead monster is a fishman monster, prompting one of the hunting ground security personnel to ask if he is from the association. He confirms. The security informs him that there is a D-class monster in the hunting ground, but Sangwoo, who entered before the lockdown, hunted the monster. The man from the association then asks if the hunting ground is meant for F-class hunters and is surprised to learn that the monster was not hunted by a D-class hunter or a group of hunters. The security informs him they are still investigating, but as far as they know, the monster is hunted by an F-class hunter with his clones. This makes the man from the association question how an F-class hunter can hunt a D-class monster. He observes the monster and realizes the attack focuses on its wound, deducing that Sangwoo must have done that to deal damage without any special weapon. He questions if it's possible to hit a moving monster while staring at Sangwoo, who is talking to Mr. Kang. The man then tells the security they will go into the portal to check if any D-class monsters are remaining and ask him to finish his investigation by then. While entering the portal, the man wonders what he will tell the association and considers saying that he killed the D-class monster alone. Sangwoo goes through his stats and notices many of his skills have unlocked, realizing he didn't notice because he was busy hunting. He questions if numbers 1 and 2 survive because of regeneration. Mr. Kang asks Sangwoo how his clones are doing, and Sangwoo informs him they are hurt, but there is still some cooldown left before he can resume using them. He thinks their self-healing will help increase the regeneration stat. Mr. Kang praises him for managing to hunt down a D-class monster. Sangwoo admits feeling ashamed for asking Mr. Kang to trust him without revealing how dangerous it was. Mr. Kang assures him that he believes Sangwoo can hunt down an E-class hunter alone without any issue, which boosts Sangwoo's confidence as he studies the situation well. Sangwoo recalls the monster's short sword and decides to pick it up, but Mr. Kang stops him, suggesting that the clones should retrieve it since the sword might be a cursed item. Sangwoo questions if he can't use it. Mr. Kang explains that cursed items are rare and can be valuable depending on their effects, which makes Sangwoo happy. He decides to let his clone pick up the sword, and Mr. Kang tells him he can have high expectations since it's from a D-class monster. Sangwoo pulls a jewel from his pocket, which he found in the fishman monster's head, and asks Mr. Kang if it's valuable. Mr. Kang tells him the jewel is cheap and low class, which breaks Sangwoo's heart. Mr. Kang reassures him, saying others would worry a lot about it too. Sangwoo thanks Mr. Kang and asks him to take care of collecting the items. Mr. Kang thanks him as well. Sangwoo goes home with his 2 wounded clones and reflects on how much he experienced in one day. He decides to summon number 3. When number 3 arrives, Sangwoo greets him, gives him his equipment, and commands him to exercise. Sangwoo changes his clothes and examines the items he collected. He looks at the jewel and realizes it's a strength jewel, noting it can't be used on a person but might work on a summoned entity and turn it into a monster. He finds the jewel tempting because it would increase his strength but worries about the side effects. He reflects on how the wounds on his clones don't affect him and wonders if turning into a monster would. He imagines himself as a monster greeting Mr. Kang decides not to use the jewel and puts it back in the box. Sangwoo moves to the next item, the sword. He recalls Mr. Kang warning him that the sword might be cursed, so he carefully places it into a box to avoid any issues while taking it home. Sangwoo thinks it's okay to sell the sword since it's valuable, but decides to test it out first. He commands number 2, who looks weak, to lift the sword. As soon as number 2 grabs it, he suddenly becomes strong and informs Sangwoo that he can hear a voice. This prompts Sangwoo to activate his familiar skill, but the noise is overwhelming and causes pain, forcing him to deactivate the skill. Sangwoo examines number 2 closely and realizes that the sword's only effect seems to be the loud noise. He wonders if it would affect him the same way if he held it directly. Deciding not to take any chances, he puts the sword back in the box. He notices an increase in his regeneration stat and wonders if resting helped his clone regenerate faster. He knows they need to hunt starting tomorrow, but since his clones are still in a weakened state, he decides they should meditate to unlock the mana breathing skill. He commands his clones, despite their weakness and wounds, to keep meditating even when he's not there. Sangwoo activates his own meditation while pondering his school obligations for the next day. The next day, Sangwoo reflects on how quickly the vacation ended. He wonders if it felt so short because he was constantly working on increasing his stats. Checking his stats update, he noticed a significant improvement since he didn't let his clones rest. He also realizes how much of a loner he is, as no one even pretends to know him. As he arrives in class, Sangwoo is surprised to see Jongdo. Jongdo greets him, saying he didn't realize they were in the same class, and asks if Sangwoo had mentioned it before. Sangwoo replies that he hadn't, and Jongdo explains that he chose this subject because he heard the professor is generous with grades. Sangwoo responds that he didn't know Jongdo cared about grades. When Jongdo asks if Sangwoo is still exercising, Sangwoo's response catches the attention of the other students, especially the girls. They whisper among themselves, wondering if he is really senior Jeong Sangwoo, recalling how he used to be overweight. They start speculating whether they should ask him out on a blind date. Jongdo notices this and tells Sangwoo that he's become quite popular. Sangwoo wonders if his changes are the reason no one greeted him. He asks Jongdo if he looks different. Jongdo, surprised, asks if Sangwoo is joking and mentions that even his parents might not recognize him. Sangwoo, planning to visit home soon, asks if it's really that serious. Jongdo recounts how he almost didn't recognize Sangwoo when he saw him on the street and suggests they grab a drink. Sangwoo declines, explaining that he has other plans and has already made a promise, so he can't join him. Jongdo jokingly calls him a traitor and accuses him of ditching him for a girl. Sangwoo quickly denies this and asks Jongdo to calm down. Jongdo, still yelling, tells Sangwoo to explain himself to everyone, making Sangwoo realize that people are curious about how they both ended up in the same class. Jongdo continues to shout that he will remember this day forever, and Sangwoo pleads with him to stop yelling as the professor enters the classroom.